You ever had someone steal from you right under your nose? Not money, not food, but electricity. That's what I was dealing with. Every night, my solar setup acted possessed, power draining faster than a TikTok trend. At first, I blamed the equipment, maybe a faulty battery cell, maybe an inverter glitch. But no, what I found later made my blood boil. Someone was secretly plugging their luxury Tesla into my solar grid. Yeah, my panels, my system, my bill. They were leeching off me like I was running a public charging station. But here's the real kicker. It wasn't some random neighbor. Nope. It was Officer Dale Mercer, our self-proclaimed HOA-Cop. The same wannabe tough guy who strutted around the cul-de-sac in his dollar store tactical vest, pretending to enforce rules no one actually voted for. Now, before we go any further, comment where in the world you're watching from, and make sure to subscribe because tomorrow's story, let's just say you'll want your popcorn ready. Anyway, back to the madness. At first, the signs were subtle. Lights flickering, battery draining faster than it should, my bills climbing when they should have been dropping. I knew my system inside out, every amp, every line, every socket, something didn't add up. So one night I decided to test a theory. I cracked the blinds, coffee in hand, waiting like a hunter. Hours passed. Silence. Then, right after midnight, a shadow crept across my driveway, and there he was. Officer Mercer himself. Not in his HOA vest this time, but in a hoodie, dragging that thick orange Tesla cable behind him. He plugged into my outlet like he owned it, leaned against his shiny car, and started scrolling on his phone while my power flowed straight into his battery. Can you believe the nerve? But here's the thing. That night was just the beginning. The deeper I looked, the uglier it got. The next morning, I didn't wait around. I walked straight up to Officer Mercer while he was strutting down the street, chest puffed out, sunglasses on, that fake authority smirk glued to his face. The man even had his vest on again, labeled HOA enforcement, like he was auditioning for Cops, Suburbia edition. I said, "Hey, I saw you charging your Tesla off my solar grid last night. You're stealing power." He didn't even blink, just tilted his glasses down and said, "Neighborhood ordinance allows for emergency charging. I'm authorized to draw from community resources." Community resources? My panels weren't a community bake sale. They were mine, paid for, installed, and maintained by me. The only ordinance he had was the one running in his imagination. Can you believe he actually tried that line? But then it got worse, because even after I called him out, he kept doing it. Every night, like clockwork. Sometimes he'd park just far enough down my driveway, thinking I couldn't see him. Other nights, he was bold, standing there like a king overseeing his power kingdom, daring me to say something. I checked the logs. Kilowatts gone, hours drained, money wasted. My system was being milked dry. That's when I decided talking wasn't enough. He wasn't going to stop until something stopped him. So I called the county energy office, pretending to be just curious. They confirmed exactly what I suspected. No one could legally connect to my system without my permission. Doing so counted as theft of services, same category as siphoning gas or pirating cable. That was the confirmation I needed. The green light to move from annoyed neighbor to man with a plan. See, my inverter had a special setting most homeowners never touch: voltage adjustments. Normally, you leave that alone. But if someone unauthorized tried to connect, you could tweak it, just enough to cause issues. Nothing illegal, nothing dangerous, just a harmless little surprise. And believe me, I was about to deliver one. I spent the afternoon setting everything up like a scientist planning an experiment, except my lab was my driveway, and my test subject was Officer Mercer's precious Tesla. First, I fine-tuned the inverter, just a tiny voltage spike that wouldn't hurt a soul but would definitely ruin someone's night. Then, I mounted a hidden camera right above the outlet. If he tried to deny it later, I'd have all the proof I needed. And then I waited. Hours crawled by until, boom, headlights. Midnight, silent as a thief. Mercer's Tesla rolled up slow and smug. He got out, plugged in, leaned against the hood, and pulled out his phone like he was clocking in for a shift at my expense. I sat on the porch, lights off, mug of coffee in hand. Can you imagine the satisfaction of watching someone walk straight into their own trap? For a minute, everything looked normal. Charging light steady, the hum of current flowing. But then, my system kicked in. A faint vibration started in the wires. Then, snap, a sharp spark from the port. The calm blue glow on the Tesla flipped to angry red. Mercer frowned, leaned down to check, and pop! A flash of white light burst out like fireworks. The car alarm screamed into the night, echoing down the street. He stumbled back, yelling, "What the?" Uh, while I just sipped my coffee. I couldn't resist. I called out, "Everything all right there, officer?" He spun around, eyes blazing. "You did this. You rigged it." I stood up slowly, calm as a priest at confession. "No, I protected what's mine. You've been stealing power for weeks. This is just karma with voltage." He lunged forward, fists clenched, barking something about having me arrested for protecting my own property. Can you believe that? But then, oh, it got better. Because instead of apologizing, Mercer whipped out his phone and called Janice, the HOA president, our local queen of chaos. And when Janice arrived, let's just say her entrance made everything explode. Within 10 minutes, Janice Rollins, the self-crowned HOA president, pulled up in her shiny white SUV like she was arriving at a red carpet event. She stepped out, heels clicking, voice already raised. "This is harassment," she shouted before her car door even shut. "You can't tamper with a member's vehicle. He was conducting official HOA business." I almost choked laughing. Official business? Plugging his car into my private solar grid? Janice crossed her arms, smirking like a discount lawyer. "The HOA has rights to community resources," she said. "That includes your property if deemed necessary." Can you believe the audacity? These people really thought the HOA was the government. But while they were ranting, I had already made one little call to the real authorities. So right on cue, red and blue lights washed over my driveway. Two sheriff's deputies stepped out, calm but ready. "We got reports of theft of services and trespassing. Who's the homeowner here?" I raised my hand. "That'd be me." Mercer immediately started finger pointing like a 5-year-old. "He sabotaged my car. He's the criminal." Janice shrieked, "Yes, arrest him right now." The deputies just looked at each other. I handed over my phone, the footage from the hidden camera. Clear as day, Mercer plugging in, stealing power, the surge, the sparks, everything. The first deputy nodded. "Looks like theft of utilities and trespassing." Janice tried to jump in again, but he shut her down fast. "Ma'am, HOA rules don't override state law or property rights. You're done here." By the end of the night, Mercer was cited for theft of services and trespassing. Janice got slapped with an obstruction charge for trying to interfere. And me? I just stood there, watching their precious Tesla towed away, battery fried, pride gone. Weeks later, my lawsuit hit. I won $50,000 in damages. Janice lost her position, Mercer lost his car, and the entire HOA lost its charter. The peace that followed? Priceless. I took one last sip of coffee, watching the streetlights flicker on, and thought, this is what happens when HOA bullies forget who really owns the power. If you enjoyed this story, hit that like button, drop a comment, and tell me, was justice served or did I go too far? Either way, stay tuned, because tomorrow's meltdown, it's even wilder.